What's up, Internet Land? Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, here with the Transformers third-party review. Today, the figure we're going to be reviewing is kind of an oldie but a goodie, but it's new to me, which is the Fans Hobby Gunfighter, or Gunfighter 2, technically, because they came out with the Scourge version from Robots in Disguise before they came out with this version of it. Get that centered, maybe. It's my table is just short enough that I can't really get the whole thing in frame all at the same time. But you know, there's his feet and there's his shoulders, and very, very good looking figure. I had a little bit of extra money, and I was like, gosh, what should I do with it? And I was thinking of things that I kind of wanted to get that I hadn't gotten because they just weren't very high on my list all the time. And it occurred to me that as much as I loved this G2 Prime back when I was a kid, I don't have this figure yet. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to buy it. So I bought it, and I like it. Just really solid figure all around, and it's very, very well sized. I mean, this is very solid masterpiece size. No, I can't switch to... I've got a wide-angle lens on this camera, but it doesn't really work that good. There he is next to the MP, or the Transform Element Masterpiece Prime, which is, you know, pretty good stand-in for a Masterpiece, traditional Masterpiece Prime scale. So he's right in that range. But yeah, very, very good detailing all throughout. The paint apps are all crisp. They're very bold and nice looking. You've got this red on black, which is not exactly easy, and this yellow. I'm not sure if that went directly over the black. I think that it... Yeah, I think that actually was yellow on top of gray. But, I mean, just very vibrant looking. Good kind of glossy sheen to it. Pretty much all of... so the other Fans Hobby figures I have is their Super Ginrai and the God Bomber upgrade. And those are both... Like, all the plastic on them is this kind of like satin finish. And this has got a lot of gloss on it, which I think looks really good as well. But anyhow, in terms of accessories, he comes with a sword with the big old nice clear plastic blade. No light up feature, unfortunately. It does have a little tab system here that will plug into either hand. Just kind of put it in. I found good results from putting in the hilt just like this much, closing that fist, and then just making sure you shove it the rest of the way in. Otherwise it likes to slip out of that rail, because the rail system is good, but it's not like the most solid. Little bit of articulation hampering here with the cross member of the sword kind of getting in the way of his forearm, but you know, it does quite well. He also comes with his oh, by the way, real quick, when you're not using that sword, you can take here, and these little guys swing all the way around. I didn't realize that they swung more around until I messed with it for a while. Come on. There we go. And then there's a little tab right here that folds out. And that will allow you to plug this in right here. It's a little bit awkward. You might want to try moving it sideways so that you don't have the angle of your tab joint lining up with the same axis of the angle of your hole joint. And I'm still having difficulties. It's probably because I'm right-handed and not left-handed. So So there it is, just plugs in like so. There's another one of those on the back of the other shoulder as well. And so you can store everything on him in his robot mode. Because even the guns, the handle folds up and you've got this little tab where you can plug that in. But this is a really nicely detailed gun as well. A little bit small, I think, for the size of this figure. I keep on kind of thinking that this barrel should slide out for a bit, but I haven't been able to get that to budge, and I don't want to force it. But yeah, that can fold up for storage. Folds out. Good red paint application, some silver and gold here. And that again just slides in with this rail system. Goes in. He holds it just nicely. And he's also got this guy here. This is that Fans Hobby plastic texture that I'm familiar with. A little bit of red detailing on this. Slides out. Tabs in. I think that this is meant to homage the gun that came with the original Laser Prime more. Because of course he had that sword, which was cool, and then he also had a gun. And by plugging them into the right hand, there was a button hidden on the back of his arm that you could click that, made a little light go on that lit up his weapons. Always thought that was super cool. At one time I had the Laser Prime and both of the motorcycles that had that effect. Good times. Maybe I should try and find those guys again. I don't know how easy they are or hard. Anyhow, let's get into articulation real quick. Let's just get this all taken off and have this feature put back away. Boom. So one thing you're going to find is that the shoulders will sometimes knock out of alignment as you're using them, but it's not the biggest deal. Like if you're just moving him around by his lower arm, his shoulders are going to go everywhere. So you just kind of keep an eye on that. His head is on a swivel and a hinge to look up and down and swivel just nicely. His ears have got some wiggles going on there. Arm goes all the way around. It comes out slightly, mostly for transformation, but you can use it for helping to get the shoulder to go around and not collide too badly with either his smokestacks, which are die cast, or his rear view or side view mirrors. His arm also goes out all the way to the side for the full tree pose. He's got a bicep swivel, single jointed elbow for a little over 90 degrees of bend. He's got a wrist swivel, which doesn't really work when you have anything in it. His hands do open. They don't open very much, but you know, he also does have an individually jointed finger, which has got massive typewriter fingers going on. Secondary joint on that finger that doesn't really do much. Hands are definitely a weaker point of this figure, but overall I think this is still not bad. No motion on the thumb. He has an integrated like ab crunch, but it's not very strong. It's enough to get some posability out of, and in fact, it seems to be doing a lot better than when I first discovered it, and it was feeling kind of floppy to me. But of course, I was kind of holding it like at the back. So a little bit of an ab crunch there, which is great. He's got a waist joint, which moves as far as you want it to. Legs go that far forward, that far back. Moves out for 80% of a Van Damme. It's got an upper thigh swivel, double jointed knee. For about that much bend on there. Toe and heel are both die cast. You get a little bit of wiggle here. One of the things that I don't really like about this figure, and I've got the same problem with the Generation Toys Optimus, which is there doesn't seem to be a lot of strength to the toes, and it stands just fine. I want to stress that first and foremost. It stands great. Just the foot doesn't always stay flat. Sometimes the pressure will bring the toe up a little bit. Definitely with the heel, because the heel, the surface where you're putting the pressure onto is so far back from where the hinge is. So something to be aware of. But it's got a little bit of forward and back motion on that. A lot amount of tilt and no rotation there. But all in all, this is a really good figure. I absolutely enjoy it so much. But anyhow, let's get him transformed up. So what we want to do is we want to start with the head. To start with the head, you want to take this panel here and pull this up. There's this little panel here will automatically pull up as you do that. You want to take his head, kind of fold his ears forward a bit, rotate it around 180 degrees, and then tuck that in. And you want to make sure as you put his head in that you are pushing his head, because he moves forwards and back, pushing his head all the way forward as you can, because you want to get this to fit in. Basically you got to tuck his head forward to get it in there, and then you just kind of got to like make sure that it tilts back a little bit, because if you tilt it all the way forward and push it in, this will sit to, I don't know if you can really see that, but this is now sitting basically parallel with his upper, with this panel right here, and that will not allow this to close properly. You have to take and once you get his head past that windshield, tilt his head back. And that'll allow you to get that few extra degrees and close this properly. Make sure this tab closes here. You want to take his fists, close them up, open up his forearm. Yeah. If you just put this in like this, that thumb gets in the way, so you want to take and rotate his hand. Push that in, close that up securely. This is a secure connection, so closing it up securely is not a problem. It will just go in and stay. Come on. There we go. Rotate, fold that in, close that. Now you need to get the shoulders to come up and over, but there's going to be some fighting going on. So you kind of turn them out to the side and bring them up. The arm, I neglected to get into the right position. You want to have them out like that, kind of, so that when you turn this up, they are in the right position. Tab those together. These will sit in here. There is a tab, but it's not a really secure tab. It just kind of is a locating tab. But those will locate in that position, and then you want to take and press on this wheel till that snaps into place. Bring this around to the other side. Fold up the feet. This panel comes out and around. There's a little button right here. It looks like a tab, but that is definitely a button. You want to push that and fold that in. One of the things you are going to have to think about is this little guy right here. Panel comes out. You got to pull it out, unfold it, then kind of like push it in a little bit to get this to go around that butt plate, and then push it out fully. Same with the other side. Pull it out, fold it, push it in a little bit to get it to clear, and then pull it out fully. And then these pseudo tab together. Not like really They don't like really tab, but they kind of tab. Not real happy with that tab, to be honest. This kind of sits here, and then you can take these, fold these out. They're going to want to come around like so. This is going to come out, and then this tab right here, will go into a little slot right here in the wheel well. Bada bang. Bada boom. Bada boom. There we go. Got a little bit of light machine oil that came on this. I've been transforming it a few times and it's been working its way out. And the last but not least, you want to take this panel here, unfold this all the way, and then just slot this into place. Oops. Well, that's a problem. I pushed it too far. Alright. Put this in again, but be careful not to push it all the way through. And there he is in his truck mode, and he looks like a really big G2 Prime truck. Again, the paint apps are really good. I do have a little bit of issue getting everything to stay tabbed together, but the joints themselves are strong enough that even if the tabs don't all hang out properly, oh hey, one thing I gotta do. Same thing you did with the front tires, do them with the back tires as well. But anyhow, the he makes for a really good truck mode. It's not quite what I remember, but I think that's, I don't know, in some ways I think that it's a little bit of a slightly more realistic take on a truck. I mean, with some obvious exceptions like this big old chunky section here. But I don't know. It's very reminiscent of my old Prime, which I like. I like that a lot. Rubber tires. I don't know how well that's going to last over time. My other Fans Hobby tires have all lasted pretty good thus far. Fingers crossed. A little bit of an airbrush gradient going on here, which thankfully mine seem to line up. I know not everybody's did. In fact, I've seen some pictures where it looked like that gradient was off by like 1/4 of an inch or more. But rolls well. Wheels are a little bit squeaky. It does have this little thing where you can plug in a gun, just one. If of all of your guns, you just pick the one that you like best, and it'll fit in there. It doesn't fit in there really well because this tab doesn't hold like at all, at least on my copy. So with that tab not holding, that tab is what keeps this together. So if that tab isn't holding, then this just kind of There is a trailer that is sold separately. I've been debating whether I want to buy the trailer, and right now my feelings are actually that I kind of don't need the trailer, because I'm mostly just going to have this guy displaying in robot mode on my shelf with all my other Optimus Primes. No place to hold this, unfortunately, unless they... No, it doesn't look like they did anyway of having it be underneath the vehicle, which is a little bit of a bummer. Oh, one thing I forgot to point out. This is the dumbest time to point it out, but he does have an opening chest cavity and a matrix. Wow, I didn't get that in frame at all. Let's bring this back up. He's got an opening chest with a matrix. The matrix is in die cast with varnished gold detailing on it. There's like some sort of like sparkly rhinestones. Like it actually kind of looks like a cut gem. Of course it's not, but yeah. So that's kind of cool. This does fit in a certain way. You'll see that there is a tab off on this side and no tab on this side. And for the handles, you'll see that one of them has got this little flange that comes out. The flange goes over that tab. It does not stay in there with any degree of security. That is just, if you can just shake this out. But the chest closes up really well, and so there's no problem with that. Which is actually kind of nice. I'm kind of tired of primes where you like have to like freaking pry the matrix out if you really want to. You should just be able to open it up and pop it out. But yeah, there he is. And this figure is like, I mean, you can probably get it for just over $100. That's about how much I got it for. And I feel that it was well worth my monies. Though I feel that at this point, there's very few like me out there. I think that most of the people who are really interested in getting this figure already have it. Handling this figure makes me once again think that Fans Hobby is really missing out by not making a G2 tank Megatron. You know, they're making a Megatron from Armada of all series. Like, why wouldn't they do the tank Megatron? I don't know. But anyhow, that's my thoughts. It comes with a heavy recommend. And thanks everyone for watching. You guys are fantastic. Stay awesome and be good to each other. See ya.